So, which taught me about creative thinking. So here's the issue. Let's start chipping away at it. It's now like a tumor. It's so embedded, it's going to take a while to cut it out. But we can do it. But let's chip away with it. We should have been out there selling these healthcare savings accounts, especially to the young people. You put money in there, it doesn't get taxed, and it doesn't get taxed when you take it out as long as you're paying for your healthcare. And it's there forever. It's your money to control and everything else. You're going to watch the numbers when they come in from the bank. You're going to, from the hospital, what they're charging you. It's a great way. And there's other ways. Listen, the insurance companies made a ton of money on this. They got in bed with these guys. Don't kid yourself. So we've got to break that string. We've got to put competition. All of you remember when Reagan deregulated the airline. Remember? They told them planes were going to be crashing. Nobody's going to be able to fly. It's going to be a mess, the whole thing. What happened? Everybody could fly. The prices went down. There was more airline, more routes to choose, and everything else. The same thing can happen with competition. A couple other things, because I know time is short, and I'm a politician now. I guess I'm defined as a politician. I could probably speak for 3 hours, but I do have some great jokes. Look, I will tell you one more thing. This is an interesting thing about Obamacare. I was driving with a friend of mine who's a doctor, and he's kind of a dry sense of humor, so you never know when it's coming out. So we started talking about Nancy Pelosi, because, we're talking politics. He likes talking politics. So he said, Stan, he said, what do you think Nancy Pelosi does? She says, you have to pass it to see what's in it. I said, yeah, how ridiculous is that? That would be first on my list to check off to say, you shouldn't be a congressman, you shouldn't even be dog catcher. All right? He said, no, Nancy was absolutely right. I said, what are you talking about, Jack? He said, well, you know what? That's the perfect definition of a stool sample. So, see, I told you, he sings here when we're running all the time. By the way, I almost drove off the road after I got it. See, I'm fun to hang around with. I'm great at cocktail parties, anything you got, just call me up, I'll be there. I'll be the entertainment for the night. But seriously, though, the debt ceiling, we know it's there. You don't vote to raise the debt ceiling. I don't care who you are. Congress has been saying, well, they're going to close the government. No, they're not going to close the government. No way, there's stuff that stays open. But you know what we got to do? Instead of sending a budget that Obama was going to veto or reject and blame it on us, let's just start sending him line items. Send him line item for food stamps. Let him be the one that vetoes this stuff. Congress abdicated its responsibility. They've got to work for a change to get this done. You can't give up your power. It's the people's court. It's the people's Congress. That means it's you and my Congress. It's up to us to run. That's the way the Founding Fathers set up. Bottom-up government. Not this top-down stuff that they're trying to throw on us. Look, I can go on again for a while. You know my position on illegal aliens. As far as I'm concerned, security, I don't care what my opponent says about his, trying to control ISIS and everything else. You know what? Security begins at the border. I will tell you this, I carry the Constitution in my pocket. I always carry a copy of the Constitution in my pocket. There's no dotted line on this document where you sign it and it becomes a suicide pact. We're under no obligation to let people in this country that want to sell drugs to our kids drive on a road drunk and kill us and commit criminal mayhem. There's no right for those people to be here. Likewise, thank you. Likewise, we're under no obligation to accept people in this country, and I'm not talking a whole class of people. I'm talking about people in this country, accept people in this country who hate this country. They don't believe in our Judeo-Christian values and laws, and they want to supplant those laws with some archaic 11th century concept that demeans women and makes slaves of all of us who are non-believers. That's not our country. One more thing before I go. There's something else that really got me over the top with Pat. He talks about, oh, I'm great for the VA and the whole thing, I back the guys. Well, I gotta tell you something. This is the thing that does it. He was the only Republican congressman to vote against the 2015 VA Accountability Act. You can't have it both ways. You can't be your John Kerry routine. But as someone who served in the Army for 6 years and was a sergeant, and even though there are a couple of guys in here that are in the Air Force that give me crap every time I come in here, I gotta tell you something. That is absolutely politics at its worst. And you wanna know why? I always say, just follow the money. Philadelphia Inquirer, March 4th, 2016. Pat gets all his money from the unions and the Democratic, big law firms. You can't have it both ways. Pat Meehan has forever collected a government check. And that is wrong. So I'm going to leave you with this one last thought. Benjamin Rush was I'm a great fan of Benjamin Rush, one of our founding fathers. I want to be able to come back here every year and you all look me in the eye and say, Stan, you said what you're going to do and you did what you said. And I know we're tired of the other way around. But Benjamin Rush said, nothing is politically right if it is morally wrong. That is over my mirror, that will be in my congressional office, and that will be there. Thank you for your time. Come out to me and vote. Vote, vote, vote.
Thank you, Stan. Hey, I got before I call up Kurt Kissinger, if he can make his way forward. Kurt, are you here? I did find out some information today from Representative Tom Calderon. I got to speak with him for a while today, met with him face to face. Do you know that Reading has become #1 in something? Can anybody tell me what that is? No. Heroin. Reading, per capita, in the United States of America, has the highest heroin usage, addiction. They found it in every elementary school now in the city of Reading. They just had a meeting at the Liederkranz today. Tom Wolf came down, and they changed the agenda of the meeting to specifically focus on heroin addiction in Berks County. We are #1, and it's pitiful. Would you rather be #1 in jobs in the state or something? No, we're #1 in drugs, right here in Reading, Pennsylvania. So it's really pitiful. So, anyways, Kurt. Okay. Okay, so everybody who's up here on the platform, everybody seems to be ignoring the light that gets flashed. When that light gets flashed, if you don't stop, I'm supposed to throw you up the... No. Hi guys, thank you so much for opening your doors for me. I'm here to represent Otto Boyd. He is running for treasurer here in the state of Pennsylvania. And if it's okay with you guys, I'd actually like to take a moment to kind of go off script. Will that work for you guys? Fantastic. So I got to know Otto pretty well over the last couple of months volunteering on his campaign, and I got to learn more about his story and his upcoming. He's a Berks County guy, as a lot of you know. Lives in Muhlenberg Township. Has served on the school board. Has done a number of things for public schools. But his initial calling to duty has been in the military, actually. He served in the 101st Airborne, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. And he became a very successful businessman. And he was very successful through that, as I said before, helping school districts. And he actually had a more recent call to duty, and that was to the state of Pennsylvania. Throughout the last 50 years, a Republican has been elected twice into the position of treasurer. He saw that as a problem. And then that was compounded with the actions of the current governor, and compounded further with the corruption of Kathleen Kane and her cronies. And then it's gotten worse, so he decided that he's going to step up and bring Berks County values back to the treasurer's office. So with your support, your continued support, we can bring some Republican values back to the state treasurer's office. If you have any questions, please feel free to check out his website and check out his Facebook page for those of you who are connected on Facebook. Thank you. You got time to go to lighting class. Dean? Everyone knows Dean Klopp. This man does a lot of fine work, and he has a little presentation for us.
computers. This is why I don't use one. By the way, for those of you that email me that I get occasionally, I only look at my email about every 2 weeks, so you're probably way down there. If you need me, call me. I've noticed some people have emailed me and I never see them. Too busy all the time, and I hate being on the computer. It puts me to sleep.
Sorry about the delay, guys. Sam and the other board members had asked me to do a little presentation. A few weeks ago, we were busy out creating trouble and rabble-rousing on Route 183. But there's a message that I want to drive home tonight, and I'll come back to it. But the message is, taxes for thee, but not for me. My name's Dean Klopp, and I'm proud to be here as a Berks County Patriot. I'm also proud to be part of David Bolinger's Pennsylvania Taxpayer Cyber Coalition. I'm also proud to be president of the Pennsylvania Liberty Alliance. And a few weeks ago, you guys answered the call through Sam and the board and Linda and Rod and Jim, and you guys came out in force. You guys answered the call. And something that, yeah. I'm sorry. Something that I thought was very important came across my telephone. I got a call from actually a couple people over a fundraiser that was occurring for a big Republican leader here in Pennsylvania. I think you guys know who he is, Jake Corman. Have any of you heard of him? And we thought that it was very important for us as Berks Countyans to step up and let Jake know that we were not going to stand for his actions. I know we were talking about December 23rd a little while ago. I'm going to back it up to November 23rd. And there were some people in Harrisburg that did not do what they told us they were going to do. And some of them were Republicans. Some of them were Democrats. We were counting on votes from Kim Ward. She peeled off our bill 76, the Property Tax Independence Act, a week before we actually voted on the bill. And she gave some really lame excuses, and of course we rebutted that at a town hall meeting out in Greensburg last month. Also Senator McIlhenny from the Lehigh Valley, Tom Garigal from Delaware County, and our state majority leader, Jake Corman, had told us that he would vote for this bill if it was anywhere close and we needed his vote. I'm going to tell you folks, in November, his name was called 3 times for the roll call vote before he voted nay. We will never forget what he did. We will never forget what Kim Ward did, or Tom Garigal, or Senator McIlhenny, or Senator Blake, who told us that he was going to vote for us up in the Scranton area, or Senator Fontana, who went to a $1,000 fundraiser for himself instead of showing up to vote that day. So folks, when this man came to Berks County, we only thought it was fitting that we would give him a welcoming committee, a welcoming party. Well, this man is enjoying fine dining and fine wine by donors that seem to maybe want to see him elected governor. Okay? Don't be surprised when Jake Corman throws his hat into the ring. We showed up on 183 in force. There were about 50 of us, and as you can see, the slides have been rolling, and you can see we had a great time. The word came out to me a week prior to this that this was going to happen. This was a private event. There were some very wealthy people from Berks County that were helping to sponsor this event. I can tell you, initially, we talked with Sam and some others, and we thought initially we're going to keep this hush and we're going to surprise him. Well, that stayed quiet for about 24 hours, Sam. And we were going to send out some emails just to some people that we knew. Well, it just went viral, and then we decided we're just going to put it out in the network. We sent out email blasts, thousands of emails. I know the Berks Patriots sent out thousands of emails. And you know what? We put it all over Facebook because we wanted to know, we wanted Jake Corman and the establishment to know what we're doing and that we're not backing down, we're not sitting down, we're not shutting up, and we're not going away. Folks, every time I hear, well, who's in opposition? Who's in opposition? Who's buying off our candidates and or our representatives and state senators. And so many times, the number one answer, can I hear it from you? Teachers unions, right? I'm here to rattle your cage today and tell you that the teachers union had less to do with us losing a vote November 23rd than the quote-unquote conservative establishment that's here in Pennsylvania. And I'm here to name names. The Pennsylvania Chamber of Compromise, I like to call it. Pennsylvania Chamber of Commerce. The NFIB. And if anyone here belongs to these organizations, I'd really like to talk to you afterwards, because we want to drop their membership immediately. Okay? I did it myself 2 years ago, and we're on a campaign right now. We're approaching every NFIB member that we can in the state, and we're talking to them about 76, educating them. The NFIB is the National Federation of Independent Business Owners. They're mostly small business owners. Does anyone belong to that organization? NFIB or Chamber of, I would love to talk to you.
What does the initials stand for?
NFIB, National Federation of Independent Business Owners, and the Chamber of Compromise. Also, the Bar Association, the Accountants Association, the trial lawyers. These are the people that sat in the room, and I'll go forward here. They sat in the room with my good friend Ron Bolts and Jim Rodkey in Harrisburg a few weeks ago, and laid it on thick, a lot of double talk about why they do not support 76. Yeah, the teachers union was represented there through the PA Budget and Policy Center. But most of the people around that room are the people that I just mentioned to you. That's who we're up against, folks. We need to start rethinking our candidates and where their money is coming from. Because you know what? Tim Ward and Jay Corman don't take much money from the teachers union. I'm talking maybe $500, $1,000, $1,500. But you know who's giving them money? The people I just mentioned to you. Those are the puppeteers, and the politicians are the puppets. And that's what's going on today. It's all about the money. Stan, did I hear you? Follow the money. Follow the money, folks. So I appreciate the opportunity to share with you. I would like to see a show of hands, or even better yet, Stan. If you came out with us 2 weeks ago and stood on 183 and let Jay Corman know that we're not taking it, that we're not going away, and that we're not going to forget that he lied to us, raise your hand if you were there. Stand up. Mosers, I know you were there. Let's give these folks a round of applause. Ray Boxer, I know you folks from my there. You rattled some pages, Jake. You rattled some pages, and I applaud you, and I appreciate you, and I thank you very much, and I thank you for the time, Jim. God bless you all.
Thank you, Dean. I'd like to ask Ryan McKenzie to come forward. I think I got us back on schedule, but again, God called me for another change, so I think we're on good here.
Well, thank you, everyone. Again, I'm State Representative Ryan McKenzie. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening, and it's good to see so many familiar faces in the room. I'll tell you just, I'm running for re-election to the State House. My district covers portions of Berks and Lehigh counties. Here in Berks County, it's townships of Hereford, Long Swamp, Richmond, Rockland, and the borough of Copland. And at the same time, I'm also running to be a delegate to the Republican National Convention in the 15th Congressional District. So I'm going to try to do both of those talks in 3 minutes to keep us on schedule here. So first off, in the State House, as Barry mentioned, we fought a vigorous fight against Governor Wolf and his increases in taxes and spending. And the governor that we have here in Pennsylvania is the most liberal governor in all of America. And we absolutely need to stop him at every turn. We were successful in doing that in our budget fight this year, protecting taxpayers, passing a responsible budget that was balanced, and also funding our priorities at the same time. So I was proud to do that. Other things that I focus on in the State House are some of the labor issues that you talked about here earlier, and always defending our Second Amendment rights. And then on the delegates race, I'll talk briefly about the process, because I think there's a lot of confusion or what people are questioning that process here in Pennsylvania this year, obviously more than ever, because it has such an impact on the race. So very briefly, we have 71 delegates in all of Pennsylvania. 17 are awarded to the statewide popular winner. So whoever gets the most votes in all of Pennsylvania gets the winner take all of those 17 delegates. Then we have 54 delegates which are allocated to the congressional districts. We have 18 congressional districts. Each district gets 3 delegates. Those are directly elected, those people in the congressional districts. And the rules that govern that race are the rules that are set by the Republican State Committee. And so before I ran for that office, I looked at those rules. It says you're supposed to run uncommitted to any candidate, and if you are elected, you're unbound, meaning you can do whatever you want. So I tried to adhere to those rules. I'm not committed to any candidate for that office, but if I am elected, I think it's important to listen to the will of the people that elected me in the 15th Congressional District, and vote for whoever they support. So that's what I'm going to be doing if elected. So, in conclusion, again, I just want to wrap up. I'm on the ballot for re-election in the 134th district in those places I talked about, and a delegate to the Republican National Convention in the 15th Congressional District, which is currently represented by Charlie Denton. So if you're in that congressional district, I would appreciate your support on Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Is Gary Day here? No? Okay, then Rick Dockery? See, agenda changed again, somebody's not here.
Hello, I'm Rick Dockery. I'm the Democratic candidate for the 15th Congressional District. And let me start by first of all recognizing that our servicemen and women in uniform and our veterans, and especially our citizen soldiers, our Pennsylvania National Guard, need to be honored and supported. We live in a very dangerous world at this point, and they're on the front lines, especially the National Guard for us. And we need to support them and their families for the rest of their lives. We may not agree on a lot. I'm a Democrat. There are a few things, though, where we might have similarities. I'm pro-life. And it's difficult on my side of the aisle, but I'm pro-life. And I support the Second Amendment. Both of those issues are, in my view, not going to move very far in any direction in Congress. The big issue that I see, and the big difference between myself and Congressman Danton, when he comes, you can talk to him about it, is our trade policy has been a disaster since NAFTA. We have sent jobs to Mexico, they're still going to Mexico. We have built up China since 2001, when they were allowed into the WTO. And it continues. Currently, they're looking to get another trade agreement in place that would include Vietnam and Malaysia with free trade. It's a disaster for us economically. It's also a very serious security threat. Every year to Congress, there is a report that talks about our relationship with China in terms of economics and in terms of national security. The report that came out in November had 3 things that really jumped out at me. One is China is able to attack us through cyber attacks, and we cannot defend adequately either at the government level or through major industry. 2, China is close to being able to knock out every satellite in every orbit. And 3, China is at this point under the belief that they can withstand nuclear attack and they can deliver a retaliatory blow. Those are reports to Congress. It's not something that's made up. And so when when you buy a Girl Scout cookie, what are you doing? You're supporting the Girl Scouts. When we buy this stuff from China, we're supporting the Chinese military. We're supporting the communist Chinese regime. It is as if, it is so stupid, it is as if you go back to the 1970s, imagine if all the stuff we picked up, all the little this and the that and the pens said, made in the Soviet Union. It didn't. They were our enemy. China is our current enemy. That's why I'm running for Congress. Charlie Dent and I have a very, very different opinion on this issue. And it's what I believe, and if you don't agree with me, do not vote for me. Vote for him. Because he supports free trade, he supports what's been happening with China. The only thing I've heard him say about China is currency manipulation. We shouldn't be trading with China at all. And it's wrecked our industries, and it's putting us under military threat by China because of what we did, because of what Charlie Dent and Congress did. That's why I'm running for Congress. It's not a career move. I love my job. I want people to know where I stand. This is a serious enough issue that I felt I needed to get out. I was here in 2012, and I thank you for inviting me back. And I appreciate just having had the chance to be here. So thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Is Joe Blackmarket here? There he is. You were hiding in the back, Joe. I didn't see you. Yeah. Joe, you're up next. Joe, come on up. Well, don't fall asleep up here, because I'm not carrying you out.
I'm a real Democrat, just like that gentleman is right there. That's what we need, more Democrats like him. I never served public office in my life, and I don't like politicians, Democrat or Republican. I like that man right there. I'm a Kennedy Democrat. I can never be as great as John, but I am a Kennedy Democrat. I'm pro-life. I don't believe in abortion. When I was a younger kid, the politicians used to kiss the babies. Now they kill them. Okay? It's no joke. And today, you got something you never had before. You got a woman fighting for the rights to kill their babies. How do you even talk about something like that? It's horrible. I'm also a member of the NRA. I'm a life member since about 1974. I didn't put there, became a life member of the Ohio Gun Collectors. I'm a life member of the Forest Grove Sportsmen. And since about the mid-60s, I've been a reserve deputy for the Allegheny Sheriff's Department. I got my son over here. We're basically three types today. We tried to run for office back around 2005, and it was a disaster. It was a disaster. So we came back and licked our wounds. Okay, my staff consists of my son behind me. He's my manager. His mom's my secretary. That's all we got. And we ran for the United States Senate the second time. We did our homework. When we go to do things, the three of us know how to get them done. And I got on the ballot, Charles Spector, Joe Sestak, and myself. Joe Sestak did a petition challenge, and he got me off the ballot. So we had to go back in 2012 to get another 2,000 signatures. We got on the ballot again, and I ran against Mr. Casey. And they did pretty good there. I knew I couldn't win. Okay, this time I'm running, and instead of Joe Sestak having one judge, he has seven Republican judges. And I got close to 2,700 signatures. This is something I have to tell you about. I have to get it off my chest. I needed 2,000, and what they got today is they got federal guidelines they didn't have back in 2010. And what happened is I had 2,700 signatures, and he challenged like close to 1,700 of them. He got my neighbors next door to me. They registered in 1953, old people, and they're Democrats, and he had them taken off. Okay, a long story short, they got me on NRAs, not registered address. So that lady, I think before, what they're probably getting her. Okay, old case law that was legal. Old case law went by way of the dinosaur, which is fake. Okay, these 7 judges, went for 16 days. They couldn't get me off that ballot. They didn't know what to do. Okay, going back to the law now. The old laws, if you moved under NRA, you were off the ballot. They can't do that. If you registered 30 years ago and you signed a petition today, you're reinstating your right to vote. No one could take that away from you unless you moved out of the country. But if you're still a Democrat or Republican, they can't take that away from you. If that signature matches, a 30-year-old signature, you want on a petition, you're on the ballot. My attorney and Joe Sestak's attorney sat down and they agreed. I had 2,186 good signatures. That's in stone. Yet they voted that they couldn't do the case. It had to go to the state Supreme Court. And what happened then, they took me off the ballot. I don't know how they could do that. And state law has already been updated to federal law. So for over a month, I couldn't go nowhere, I can't campaign, do anything. In fact, when was it, last Thursday, Wednesday? Wait, is that right here? Okay. I make springs for a living, I'm a working man, I work with my hands. And anyways, they got me off the ballot, but the Supreme Court put me on last week. I'm on the ballot again. This past Tuesday. I got 7 days. I got 7 days to become a United States Senator. Okay?
Watch the debate this weekend.
Okay, watch the debate. And I'm all for it. My big thing is fair trade. These countries like China, the gentleman there was saying, that's the biggest enemies we have. All these third, fourth world countries where they work for less than a fucking hour. They work for food. Then they go and they bring a product into the United States and no taxes, nothing. They sell it. It's unfair labor practice. It's unfair to our workers. I want to tax them. I really want to give it to them. And I don't know what else to say. This country was built on American labor, the American worker, the man and woman. That's what this country's all about. Our Constitution, everything. And we got to bring that back. And I'm going to fight. I hope that gentleman will fight with me. I want to bring the Democrat Party back to its roots. The common people's party, the working people's party.
As far as TPP goes, I just, the only way you could really compare that to anything is what the Federal Reserve was to banking. This trade deal is gonna concede the Congress's right to negotiate trade. It's essentially what it does. It gives it to, a private entity, pretty much. If you know nothing about the TPP, I'd suggest reading into it. Remember Nancy Pelosi when she came out there and said, we got to vote for this bill to see what's in it? Well, Paul Ryan did the same thing with Fast Track. He got Fast Track passed, and now they got you, with the axe over your head with this TPP, and you got to deal with it. I digress from there, but I will say, seriously, this weekend, he's going to be in the debate with McGinty, Fetterman, and Sestak. I encourage everybody in this room to tell their friends, their family, their neighbors, everybody. Sit down and watch it. High entertainment value. Okay. So, ABC 6, Philly. I believe it's 11 a.m. Sunday is the air date. I'll leave it go for now, but I'll also say one other thing. There's a lot of Democrats and Republicans that are upset with Senator Toomey. That being said, there's a lot of Democrats that have already told us in the fall they're going to vote for him. Okay, Republicans. And, Democrats that are going to vote for him, but there's a lot of Republicans that don't want to vote for him. And hopefully, if you can make some noise about Joe's campaign, what he's doing, we'd appreciate it. Any Democrat friends that you have, get the word out there. And also, as far as guns go, Second Amendment. With Tim, he teamed up with the Munchkin from West Virginia to destroy your Second Amendment. So don't forget that. And as far as protecting the Second Amendment goes, FOAC, for Firearm Owners Against Crime. He was endorsed by them. Senator, the Republican side for Toomey, they found no suitable candidate to endorse. So,
For all the oldies, I'm 72 years old, I'll be 73. No one's gonna take that Social Security away from me. No, from you guys, nobody. It's your money, you earned it, you pay taxes on it. Okay, your employer paid taxes on that money. It took a Democrat to put a tax on Social Security, that was Penn Kennedy. It's gonna take a Democrat to get that tax off of Social Security. That job would work. One final thing. In 2010, 2012, when the press called me, the first question a lot of them would ask is, how much money do you have? The last one that called me in 2016 told me how much money I had in the bank. I had 132 bucks. I had 132 bucks in my political account last week when I was put on a ballot. And with that 132 bucks, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get the Senate of the United States. I thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Okay, we have a few delegates running for the Republicans National Convention. So first I'd like to ask Larry Stoller, S-T-O-E, Stoller, right? Okay. Larry Stoller is strolling to the podium.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Linda for inviting me to your program here tonight. I'm half of the Stoller campaign team. My wife is the other half. She's in an activity in Lebanon County where we live. I am running for delegate in the 6th Congressional District. And that district politically is known as the Dragon. They call it the Dragon because of its irregular shape. It's part of Berks County, part of Lebanon County, a big part of Chester County, and a part of Montgomery County. And I can tell you it's not set up for Berks County or Lebanon County or even Montgomery County. Okay? They want to control it a little bit south of here. That's the way it's set up. There are 8 candidates running for 3 positions. I'm running uncommitted. I will vote for whoever gets the most votes statewide. I want to represent you, the voters. That's my goal, whether it's on the first ballot or beyond that. I'm not there with a personal agenda. I wasn't recruited by anybody to do this. I decided to do this because I'm interested in it. I'm interested in good government. I'm interested in the process. I have the time to do it. I'm retired. I'm not looking for a career in politics. I was a county commissioner in Lebanon County for 8 years, 2 terms. I was chairman for 4 years. But those days are gone. But I do have the time and the interest to do this. I'm committed to do this. And I would appreciate one of your votes. You can vote for 3 people, and I would like one of those. I must say I am glad that I'm here with you tonight because you folks, like me, don't have an accent. I was down in Conshohocken this morning on a radio show in Philadelphia. Those people have a funny accent down there. You know, I have trouble understanding it. But they put me in between a Cruz person that's running for delegate and say she's for Cruz, and on one side, and a Trump supporter on the other side. And the announcer there from the radio station, he interviewed the Cruz person, and he then interviewed the Trump person. And then he got to me, and I started saying, well, my name is Larry Stoller. I'm a registered nurse with a master's degree. Live in Lebanon, part of Pennsylvania, you know, the part where President Obama referred to us as the people that cling to our guns and Bibles. I said, I'm proud of that fact, because this country is built on faith in God and having a strong military. That's what made this country, guns and Bibles. So that's what I'm fine with that. You know, and that's part of the district that I'm running in, that I live in. So he went on, you know, I told him, he knew I was uncommitted, and he asked me about this. He says, was there any candidate you wouldn't vote for? I said, well, there certainly is. I wouldn't vote for Bernie Sanders. And when I was a nurse in Vietnam, working 12 hours a day, be breeding burn patients, Bernie Sanders was in our country burning draft cards and the American flag. You know, how could I ever vote for a man that did that, or a woman for that matter? And Hillary Clinton had that debacle with Benghazi. To me, that's terrible. So I would never vote for either of those two people. But regardless which one of these candidates gets the most votes, I'll be more than happy to support them. I will also tell you this. I have not worked on behalf of any of the candidates. I have not contributed any money to any of the candidates. I do not belong to a political action committee, nor have I given any money to a political action committee. Okay, so it's time to wrap up, and I'm going to listen to he's not bigger than I am. So, just leave you with one thought. I would really appreciate one of your votes if you live in the 6th Congressional District. And if you don't, if you know somebody, encourage them to vote for me. I would very much appreciate that. Thank you again for having me, and wish you the best. Thank you.
Okay, we are running just a little bit over, but I promise you we're almost done, and we'll have the results of the straw poll. Next we have Scott Eulinger. Where is Scott? Okay. Do we have Scott Eulinger?
He couldn't make it.
He couldn't make it?
He ended up in New York. I thought he notified.
Oh, no, nobody notified us. Okay, agenda changes again. Okay. Is John Reaver here? There we go. Okay.
Good evening. My name is John Reaver. Good evening. My name is John Reaver. I'm not the most nervous or inexperienced public speaker in the world. I can tell you I'm damn one of them. I was born and raised in Berks County. My ancestors come from Germany, came to Berks County in 1732 on a ship called the Two Sisters, and they settled as farmers up here in Perry in Windsor County. And about 100 of my relatives are buried at the Windsor Castle Church. I've been a policeman for 45 years in Berks County. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'm 72 years old and I retired as chief of police in Leominster at age 70. Prior to that, I was with the Cumberland Police for 32 years, the Sheriff's Office for 6, and the Borough of Birdsboro for 8 years. They say we're country's going in the wrong direction. Direction hell. We're on the edge, getting ready to go off a cliff. And that is, no sense. I mean, the current immigration policies that we practice now are not the best. No interest for our future. It's dangerous for our future. Obama's immigration, I'm totally against it. But that put aside, one of the things that got me really interested and really upset about Washington, D.C. is a permanent political class. I can put my glasses on. Notes here. Permanent political class and election campaign contributions are one of the biggest problems. We talk about lobbyists and special interest groups like they're selling candy on the Capitol steps. But those lobbyists are nothing but bad men, and the special interest groups, to be honest with you, a lot of them are created by our legislation. They run in the street with thousands and thousands of dollars on both sides of the issues, and I'm tired of it. They use campaign contributions as the cash flow, the underground river of money, millions of dollars that flows into Washington Circle. Anyway, I've got the flash, but I'm telling you, even I have nine people running against, I should have 72. Anyway, my name's John Reaver. People should find out what a Fetcher bill is. And that's when Congress, they create bills to suck money out of both sides of an issue that they have no intent of even passing. And That's one of the problems that I have with the federal government. And when young or new congressmen get to Congress, people are, when you get to, you're already going to be in debt for about $50,000 to $100,000 to the permanent political, for your dues to the political dues for the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. And if you want to be anything more than just a congressman, like you want to be let's say, Speaker of the Ways and Means Committee, you're going to have to raise $600,000. And this is the way this cash money flows. And you can give, any candidate can give any amount of money to any other candidate all the way down to the state limit. And that's how they control everything that affects us. And I'm tired of that. And that's why I'm running in the 15th district for delegate. And I'm supporting Donald Trump. And the way I feel about supporting Donald Trump and naming who I'm supporting is because if the people know who I'm voting for, they're not in the dark. And if I'm elected, I'm no longer representing the people who put me there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. John, you mentioned that you were a police officer in Birdsboro. Was that between the late 70s and early 80s? 1970, okay then. Okay. All right, you didn't know me then, that's good. Okay. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Rod for a few minutes to make an announcement and the straw poll results. And that's towards the end. That's only said for a few minutes, man. That's okay.
Yes, I have to be brief. First of all, I thank Alan for covering for me. I was supposed to be in Georgia, and he covered pensions and, not pensions, he covered paycheck and prevailing wage. I was vice president of Pennsylvania's Right to Work for just 27 years. So when it comes to those two subjects, been there, did that. Hopefully there'll be new information on that next month. So thanks, Ellen, for covering. I was going to talk about pensions. We're out of time. I will just say this about pensions. I have 3 meetings scheduled for our committee, and 2 of the committee people said they try to be there, but one with Eric Epstein, who floated the pig over the Capitol at midnight pay raise. Eric Epstein has his own organization, Rock the Capitol. I have a meeting scheduled with Representative McGinnis. McGinnis is a PhD in finance, and I'm meeting with him on pensions, and also Rich Dreyfus of the Commonwealth Foundation, who is also a financier. All 3 said the same thing. I'm on track with this, and it's got to be exposed. We can do something about it. So my committee is working on this. Hopefully by next month there'll be some new information on pensions and the other subjects. Straw poll results are in, and I can tell you the results are Bernie Sanders got a vote. Somebody here came to the wrong meeting. Hillary got 8. Now, we had 2 none of the aboves on the Republican side. Casey had 9. Ted Cruz had 57. And Donald Trump had, with those 3, that makes it 75. An idea what this crowd is made up, and that's our results. Thank you.
Okay, I've got 2 brief announcements, and I'm going to ask Helen McMinn to come up here and make an announcement. The first one is John Ide. Where are you? Where's John? Stand up. You see that guy back there? Back there? You go back and get his phone number. I can give it to you now. May 23rd, there's a Second Amendment rally in the Rotunda at the Capitol from 10 to 12. We were there last year. We carpooled from here. John Ide is your point of contact to meet up with the carpool. So, Tuesday, it's the 24th, John. There's the 24th or 23rd? 24th. It's the 24th. Tuesday the 24th. Not the 23rd. Okay, sorry. It's Tuesday the 24th. anyways, John Ive, his phone number, if you want to write it down, is 610-562-7022. He will be coordinating the carpool from here. So go back and see him back there before you leave if you're interested in going. That's May 22nd. Actually, I'll let you make your announcement now before I make the announcement of next month's meeting and close the meeting.
Good evening, everybody. I am so happy to hear these candidates getting up and saying that they are pro-life, okay? Because it is impossible to further the common good without acknowledging and defending the right to life, upon which all other inalienable rights of individuals are founded and from which they develop. So, as true patriots, we do understand that abortion is evil. In our society, we are experiencing the dramatic clash between good and evil, the culture of death versus the culture of life. We find ourselves not only faced with, but in the midst of this conflict. And we have the inescapable responsibility to be unconditionally pro-life. This responsibility calls us to do everything in our power to protect and defend our brothers and sisters in the womb and to defend their inalienable right to life. So, we are going to come together this Sunday, April 24th, and we're asking for your participation in the 6th annual Reading Berks March for Life. It's going to be at Berks Catholic High School Auditorium. We will begin with music at 1:30 and a rally at 2. The speakers for the rally will include Kathy Barnett, an adjunct professor of corporate finance and economics, a conference speaker, and the radio host of Truth Exchange, heard on WAAR radio. She has also been on the board of a crisis pregnancy center for the last 5 years. We will also hear from our representative, Mark Gillen, here in Berks County and represents Berks County and Lancaster. And so the march will begin at 3 o'clock, and we'll march from Berks Catholic across the bridge over to Cabrini Academy, where we have bus service provided by Eshelman's Bus Service for free to bring you back to Berks Catholic. And so I'm hoping that we will reach our goal of bringing awareness of the life issues in our community, and that we will demonstrate that we are a people of love, okay? We're willing to take care of these girls in crisis pregnancy centers, and we don't want to judge. We just want to love. So I'm asking that all of you would consider this Sunday, beautiful day, 70 degrees. It doesn't start too early, you still get to church, and then be over at Berks Catholic by about 1:30, okay? And God bless you all, and I hope to see you there.
Thank you, Helen. I just got an interesting tidbit of news. Deb came running up here and said, we've had these speakers to the entire outside of this complex all around active, so all the neighbors around here have heard from every candidate tonight. It's really loud when you go out the door, apparently. That's never happened before, so sorry you guys out there if we catch you up, but you know, that's what us conservatives do. All right, my last announcement would be our next month's meeting. Our guest speaker is Kathy Barnett. She is the host of the talk radio show program on FYL in Philadelphia, It's a New Day. She is a conservative black woman, a person who really knows the issues, and she'll be talking to us about, she's a veteran from the Army Reserves, why we must we stand by and watch our president treat our sovereignty with contempt while Europe commits demographic suicide. Join us to hear what our guest speaker recommends. So, she's talking to March for Life too. Oh wow, okay, you get to hear it twice. You get a double shot there. So if you wanted to March for Life, you get to hear her there. Anyways, I apologize if we went over. It was a great meeting tonight. We did fly by the seat of our pants because they were here, they weren't here, they were coming, they weren't coming. Then they showed up, they weren't coming, and some that were coming didn't show up. So Rob did a good job, and Jake did a good job. Everybody did a good job of keeping it all together. Judy back there, thank you for putting the agenda together and letting us change it about 20 times until it was all done. So So at this time, could you join me in prayer to close this meeting? Gracious Heavenly Father, we do thank you and praise you for this opportunity to come together, and just pray that we would all search our souls, Father, and vote wisely on Tuesday. Just pray, Father, we would vote our hearts, we would do what is most pleasing to you, and that those candidates who do get elected and make it through the general election, that they would seek your will, Father, and do what you want them to do when it comes to serving in public office, and know that they are our servants and we are not theirs. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you and good night.